Have you ever thought about why it feels like a maze getting your medication filled in the US? Come with us as we try to figure out the complicated web of rules, strategies, and market forces that make the American healthcare system so hard to understand. What kinds of secret forces are at work here? And how do they affect your health and your wallet? Keep watching to find out. A multitude of elements, including as regulatory frameworks, price structures, patent laws, and market dynamics, have contributed to the formation of the pharmaceutical sector in the United States, which is a behemoth of complexity. For the purpose of comprehending the reasons behind the complexity of the pharmaceutical sector in the United States, it is necessary to delve into these components and investigate the ways in which they interact with one another to provide a challenging environment for consumers, healthcare providers, and the industry itself. Frameworks for regulatory compliance. In the United States, the Food and Drug Administration is largely responsible for regulating the regulatory environment that pertains to pharmaceutical medicines. Before a drug may be sold to the general public, the Food and Drug Administration tests it to make sure it is both safe and effective. In order to do this, a stringent process of clinical trials, data analysis, and evaluation is required. There are various stages involved in the process. Before a medicine can be tested on people, it must first be put through intensive testing in the laboratory and on animals in order to determine whether or not it is safe and whether or not it has any biological activity. In the event that the preclinical testing is successful, the drug sponsor will submit an IND application to the FDA. This application needs to be approved before clinical trials may commence. These trials are carried out in 3 stages with the following phases. Phase I involves conducting tests on a small group of healthy volunteers to determine the dosage and safety of the medicine. Evaluation of the drug's efficacy and adverse effects in a larger population of patients is the focus of the second phase of the study. Confirms the efficacy of the therapy, monitors any adverse effects, and evaluates it in comparison to other therapies that are routinely used in a broad patient population during the third phase of the study. If the clinical trials are successful, the sponsor will submit a new drug application to the Food and Drug Administration in order to receive approval to commercialize the drug. This process, while necessary for ensuring the safety of the medicine, is both time-consuming and expensive. It typically takes between 10 and 15 years and can cost up to $2.6 billion for each drug. There is a significant amount of difficulty involved in getting new medications to market due to the high prices and lengthy timescales involved. Different methods of pricing. Another layer of intricacy is added by the pricing of pharmaceuticals in the United States. Price levels for pharmaceuticals are mostly established by the market in the United States, in contrast to the situation in many other nations where the government regulates medicine costs. Even when it comes to the same prescription, this can result in large price differences between different medications. This is due to a number of reasons and includes the high cost of R&D is frequently mentioned as a cause for the high pricing of pharmaceuticals. It is the goal of businesses to recoup their investments and provide funding for future research. Patents provide pharmaceutical companies with the exclusive right to market a new drug for a period of up to 20 years, which enables them to charge the highest possible rates without facing any competition. In addition, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, provides exclusivity periods for particular medications, which further delays the competition from generic alternatives. In the United States, the pricing of pharmaceuticals are negotiated between many parties, including wholesalers, manufacturers, pharmacy benefit managers, and insurers. There is a possibility that this multi-tiered bargaining procedure will disguise the actual expenses and result in price markups at various stages. Patients frequently do not know the true cost of their drugs until they reach the pharmacy counter. This occurrence results in a lack of price transparency and makes it impossible to compare costs. Patent laws and the absence of market competition. Patent rules and market exclusivity are 2 important factors that have a significant impact on the structure of the pharmaceutical industry in the United States. An innovation that is patented grants the owner of the patent a temporary monopoly, which enables them to prevent others from producing, utilizing, or selling the invention that is patented. This allows businesses to recuperate their investments in research and development, which in turn encourages innovation. Nevertheless, it also means that competitors are unable to develop generic versions of the drug for the life of the patent, which frequently results in the drug's prices being significantly higher. Generic manufacturers are able to make bioequivalent versions of a drug once the patent on that drug has expired, and they can often do so at significantly cheaper prices. In spite of this, the original manufacturer may adopt a variety of techniques in order to extend its market exclusivity, including the following. Patent evergreening refers to the process of making minor adjustments to the first medicine in order to acquire additional patents and extend the duration of exclusivity. Product hopping refers to the practice of switching patients to a new version of a drug just before the original patent expires, which in turn restricts the market for generic versions of the drug. The filing of petitions with the Food and Drug Administration to delay the clearance of generic pharmaceuticals under the guise of safety concerns is referred to as citizen petitions. These activities have the potential to postpone the introduction of generic medications that are less expensive, so keeping prices high for longer periods of time. The competition and the dynamics of the market. There are a huge number of businesses active in the pharmaceutical market in the United States, ranging from large multinational corporations to smaller biotech companies. The market is very competitive. Although it has the potential to stimulate innovation, this competition also adds to the complexity. Among the most important aspects are: large pharmaceutical companies frequently buy smaller companies in order to obtain access to new technology or promising pharmaceuticals. This practice is known as mergers and acquisitions. While this may encourage innovation, it may also result in the concentration of markets and a reduction in the amount of competition. The market for biologic medications, which are produced from living creatures, is expanding. Biosimilars are also becoming increasingly popular. In general, the development of these medications is generally more difficult and costly than the development of ordinary chemical drugs. In the same way as generics for biologics are similar to biosimilars, biosimilars are subject to extra regulatory hurdles and market constraints, which makes their entry and acceptance more difficult. Drugs that treat uncommon disorders are referred to as orphan drugs, and the Food and Drug Administration provides specific incentives for these drugs. These incentives include market exclusivity and tax credits. Despite the fact that this promotes the discovery of medicines for uncommon ailments, it also has the potential to result in expensive prices due to the limited amount of competition. When it comes to insurance and reimbursement, other factors that contribute to the complexity of the pharmaceutical environment include insurance coverage and reimbursement policies. The United States of America offers health insurance through a combination of public and commercial programs, such as Medicare and Medicaid, as well as private employers. Individual payers each have their own formulary, which is a list of pharmaceuticals that are covered, as well as their own payment rates, which results in a wide range of patient access and out-of-pocket expenses. Among the most important factors are: insurers and PBMs employ formularies to manage costs, and they frequently require prior authorization or step therapy, which involves trying out cheaper options first before they would cover pricey prescriptions. In order to gain favorable formulary placement, manufacturers frequently offer rebates to PBMs and insurers. The fact that these rebates are often kept secret contributes to a lack of price transparency, as well as the possibility of conflicts of interest and other possible issues. It is possible for patients to be subject to cost-sharing mechanisms such as copayments, coinsurance, or large deductibles, which can have an effect on their capacity to afford prescriptions. It is possible for these cost-sharing mechanisms to vary greatly from one insurance plan to another. Influences from the legal and political systems. There are also political and legal considerations that play a vital part in the formation of the pharmaceutical sector. Changes in legislation and regulations have the potential to have significant effects on the pricing of drugs, access to them, and innovation. These are some recent trends. There is a continuous discussion and legislative attempts that are being made in order to address the issue of increased drug pricing. One of the proposals is to allow Medicare to negotiate rates, another is to limit the amount of money patients have to pay out of pocket, and yet another is to increase price transparency. Efforts to streamline the medicine approval process and foster competition are examples of regulatory reforms. For example, the Food and Medicine Administration is working to speed up the approval process for generic drugs and to encourage the development of biosimilars. Trade agreements and international patent laws have the potential to influence the pricing and availability of drugs, as seen by the discussions around the Trans-Pacific Partnership and other trade deals. The complexity of the pharmaceutical sector in the United States is the consequence of a complex interaction between a variety of factors, including regulatory frameworks, price structures, patent laws, market dynamics, insurance and reimbursement systems, as well as political and judicial pressures. A tough environment is one that customers, healthcare providers, and industry stakeholders must contend with, and each of these aspects adds to that environment. It is vital to have a deeper understanding of these complexity in order to effectively address the problems of drug affordability, access, and innovation in the United States, as well as to guarantee that patients receive the pharmaceuticals they require at prices that are affordable. By making well-informed legislative decisions, implementing smart industry practices, and making continual attempts to strike a balance between innovation, affordability, and accessibility, stakeholders are required to negotiate these issues as the landscape continues to undergo transformation. The future of the pharmaceutical industry in the United States will be contingent on the discovery of solutions that address these challenges while simultaneously cultivating an environment that serves to support both the growth of medical technology and the well-being of patients. If you found this video enlightening and want to stay updated on more fascinating insights, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Join our community and dive deeper into the world of pharmaceuticals and beyond.